Thanks for joining me. Today's class will be short, about 30 minutes, but we'll get into the hips and the groins and the actions that are required. So let's get started. Before we get started, if you enjoy this video and find it helpful, please give it a like. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe and don't forget to click the bell so that you are notified when the new videos are uploaded. Now let's get started. Okay, standing in Tadasana. Bring your feet together, stand balanced, lift up through the arches, up through the ankles, through the inner legs, from the outer hips, descend down. So use the feet, that groundedness of the feet, to lift up. I'm going to jump into Utthita Trikonasana. Inhale. As you bring the elbows up, move the elbows back and bring the shoulder blades into the body. And jump the feet apart, 4.5, 5 feet apart. Turning to the right, externally rotating. That front leg, keep the pelvis lifted. Keep the lift on the inner back leg. So as you are in Utthita Trikonasana, you're working to open the front groin here. Okay, so that means that the back body, the tailbone, the buttocks is moving forward. If I move the hips back, the groin shorten. So using the back body to open that front body, lengthen over that front leg, come into Utthita Trikonasana. You can start with your hand on your hip. And if you need more distance, you can move that heel back away from you, straightening the front leg, turn the chest, and extend the arm up. From here, now open the front groin. So the buttock, tailbone moving in, open, turning that hip. So you're getting that openness through the lower pelvis, lift through the inner leg, and then come up, turn your feet, turn to do the other side. We're still maintaining that openness through the pelvis, so the pubic bone is lifting all the way up through the front body. If you're shortening in the groin, the pubic bone is moving down, the chest is sinking, front body is shortening. So using the back body here, the buttocks moving forward, tailbone moving into the body. Exhale, lengthening over that front leg. Keep your hand on your hip. Adjust with that back foot if you need to. So lifting up through the arches, lifting the ankle bones away from the heels, lift up through the inner legs, lengthening. And now move the buttock forward so that front groin opens, but also the back groin and the back pelvis, that inner lift of the thigh and slight rotation of the top of the right pelvis. Turn and look up at your hand. So maintain that weight on both feet, maintain the length through the side trunk, maintain that buttock moving forward, open the front groin. And then inhale, come up, turn your feet. We're going to come back to the first side. This time we're going to go into Ardha Chandrasana. So bring your hands onto your hips. If you need a block, take a block. So first we'll come into this Virabhadrasana II, bent knee position. So with that, also opening through the front groin, deepening through the front groin here, extending, just coming into that position where your chest is lifted, your arms are extended, and then coming down. Bring the back leg forward, so you're hopping with the back leg. Bring the hand forward, keep the hand on the mat, and then using that lift of the back leg to get that openness through the pelvis. So tremendous lift from the inner thigh, extend through the leg, connect with the arches, lift the inner ankle away from the heel of the foot, and as you lift the leg, move the buttock forward, especially the standing leg buttock forward. Rotate the top leg. Just stay in that position with the hand on the hip. Bring the elbow back, And from there, bring the shoulder blades into the body. Press the elbow as if it were pressing into the wall. And then you're going to come down. Ardha Chandrasana on the other side. So be in your mat, positioned on your mat so that when you come forward, your hand will be on your mat. All right, so coming forward, place the hand. I'm going to step back a little bit. All right, and then have the toes on the floor. You're already planning to open through this front groin. You're lifting the back leg, opening through the front groin, extending. Keep that leg firm. So center of gravity on your standing foot is the arch, so connect with the arches of both feet. Bring the elbow back. From that elbow pressing back, turn the chest. And then come down. Carefully. Don't fall. Turn your feet, walk your feet back, stand back in Tadasana. Okay, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So come to the front of your mat, spread the fingers, walk your legs back. So now here, you have the front groin, you have the back groin. So you're opening the back groin, spreading the backs of the thighs, lifting from the backs of the thighs up to that back groin and up into the sitting bones. So you're lifting from the back of the buttock up, and you're extending from the top of the buttock near the waist down towards your sitting bones. So the front groin is deepening. Just breathe there. Keep the arms firm. As you press the hands into the floor, lengthen through the side trunk up into the hips. Press the heels down, and now lift the back groin up. And then come down onto your knees. All right, we're going to come into a lunge. So you'll take your right leg forward. Have one knee on the floor, and then take your hands on either side of your foot, and coming into this position where your knee is over your ankle, be on the toes, and release your hip down. So here you're getting a nice hip opening in this right hip, and this back leg is the same as Utthita Trikonasana. You're getting that opening through the front of the groin. Keep extending through the heel and keep the side trunk moving forward. So that as the heel moves away, crown of the head moves forward. Soft gaze, soft eyes, soft breath. And then coming back, Uttanasana, and then step the other foot back. So first come onto the knee. Make sure you have the right distance. You want your knee directly over your heel. Turn the toes under. Hips are compact, so they're moving in towards one another. And then lift the knee off the floor. So just to observe here what happens. So there's a difference in lifting the leg up, and you see this hip comes up. I want you to keep this hip descending. Turn the toes under, and just lift the back leg. So you start to extend through the front groin, through the front of the thigh, through the knee, and extend back through the heel. So you're not lifting this hip up to lift the back leg. And then lengthen forward. Quiet breath. And then coming forward, come back to Uttanasana. Bring your feet together this time. And again, opening the back groin. So extending the heel down, lengthening the calf, draw the kneecaps up, lift the back thigh, deepen the front groin. So we're not always opening the groin. Sometimes we're deepening it and softening it. So get that softness, the front groin, and the opposite action with the back groin, lengthening. Okay, Come down one more time. Now this time, bring the foot onto the floor and slide the leg back. And then move the hips forward, move the buttock forward. So again, you're lengthening the front of the thigh. You're fixing the toes of the back foot onto the floor. So you're deepening in the front hip and you're opening through the back groin. Then step forward, Uttanasana. And then come back onto that knee. And then start to move the leg back. So you're moving the knee back, you're moving the foot back, pressing it down so you're fixing the back foot, and then move the buttock forward. Move the chest forward along the thigh. So as you press that back foot, let the bent knee hip release down and keep the length coming through that back leg. And then release. Step forward, Uttanasana. Take your feet hips width apart, looking forward. Bring your hands onto your hips. Inhale, come up. All right, so standing in Tadasana. We're going to step into 5 feet apart for Virabhadrasana I. Inhale, exhale, jump the feet. Keep the arms long. Turn the back heel. So turn the left leg. Externally rotate. And with the arms long, come into Vimanasana. So you're turning with that full rotation from the arms to the middle chest. Okay, make sure that back foot is grounded. And then rotate the arms. Swing the arms up. And now come into that bent knee position, like you did when we were on the floor. Now the leg is lifted up. So you're getting that extension through the front groin here. And keep the inner heel, inner ball of the foot grounded as you do that. Now release your hip down, lift the chest, keep the abdomen moving away from the thigh. Inhale, lift. Stay in your legs. Inhale, come up. We'll turn to do the other side. So turning the heel, extend the arms, use that Vimanasana, that kind of airplane action to turn your back body. Stay grounded in that back heel and the ball of the big toe. Bring your arms up. Keep the arms extended up as you come forward now, bending the knee. But as you bend the knee, keep that front body lifting up away from the thigh. So you're not deepening in the groin, you're opening here, and you're opening in the back leg, like we did on the floor. Extend, middle buttocks forward, tailbone forward, reach up, breathe. Inhale, come up, turn your feet, and jump your feet together. Come back to Tadasana. Come back to your breath. Okay, so now you're going to use a bolster. We're going to go into Supta Virasana. Coming down onto your knees. Lengthen the fronts of the calves. Sit between your ankles. If you need more height, you can sit on a little bit of height, but then you'll have to build this up. You'll have to have 2 bolsters, okay? So I've shown that to you before. So just observe as you come down. The lower back is moving down. The top of the buttocks is moving down. Make enough space so that you can bring your knees up off the floor. So here I'm getting a nice opening through the front of the ankle and front of the foot, putting my whole body down onto that bolster, and then bringing the knees down, bringing the thighs down. Okay, so here is that opening now that we were getting from the back leg, opening through the front groin, and using the buttock to stay in a position where this is opening and not shrinking. Okay, so there's length coming through the front of the thigh, releasing your shoulders, releasing your arms. Thighs are parallel to one another. Stay with your breath. Now bring your arms above your head. Extend your arms. Lengthen through the knees. Lengthen through the fronts of the thighs. Take your hands on your elbows, and with your hands on the elbow and in the crease of the forearm, in the joint, lengthen the arms so that the whole exterior of the trunk is lengthening, while at the same time the hips are moving away. So using that buttock to activate, to lengthen the front thigh, to open that front groin, to keep that extension through the lower back. Change the cross on the arms. And then you're going to come up. Bring your hands onto the floor. You're going to come up with your head last. So come up from the back body where the shoulder blades are, and come up. Now I'm going to have you turn the bolster just to the side, and I want you to come down on your forearms. And here, you're going to keep your hips on the floor, sitting bones on the floor. Use the forearms in that bolster and curve the upper back. Lift the chest. And then come up. Take your bolster away. And now bring the bolster in front of you. You can use one bolster here or two bolsters. We'll just try with one bolster first. So you come forward with that front leg. Walk the other leg back. So your front thigh is on that bolster. And this leg, you can just take it and bring it to a 90-degree angle. Okay, so walk that back leg back, walk the back groin back, bring the buttock forward, use your hands on the bolster, and lift the chest. So you're getting that deep hip connection with the bent leg, and you're getting that groin opening through the back leg. So both are working together. Bring the back ribs in, lift the chest. Okay, and then coming down, you can straighten the leg. See if you can approach Hanumanasana. So bring the heel forward, bring the back thigh back. So Hanumanasana with support. Lift the chest. Tailbone in, middle buttocks in. Extend through the legs. So this hip is coming forward. This front thigh is, groin is moving toward that bolster. Your other leg is sinking down and the tailbone moving forward. Okay. You can turn and you come to this side. That'll be the easiest way. So bring that leg into a 90-degree angle. I'm going to move the bolster forward so my leg is on. So coming to that 90 degrees, I'm going to turn the hip. So now the front groin, the front hip is supported by that bolster, and I walk the leg back, just like I did in those other asanas that we did. So the thigh is supported, the hip is supported, and because I'm listing forward, I want to come more onto the center. Okay, so I'm supporting that leg, bringing the hands onto the bolster, and there. Releasing that hip down, moving this hip forward. Lift the chest. Okay, and then if you want to try that, going through front leg extended, back leg extended. It's almost better to do without the mat because your foot can get stuck, so you have to lift it up. So turning, so you're on the front of that groin, press into the back foot, thigh descending, tailbone moving in, chest lifting, pubic lifting, turning this hip, broadening the lower back, lift up. And then release. So I hadn't planned on showing you that, but we were there, so we could just have a little bit of go at it. Okay, so now you're going to come into Supta Baddha Konasana. You can take your belt and buckle the belt up, so it's going to go around your hips and around your feet. And here, I'm going to use 2 bolsters, so we get a little bit more openness through the groin. So you've got the strap around the lower back, and you'll bring the strap around the feet. Now I'm bringing my feet onto the second bolster, and I'm cinching it up, so I'm pulling the legs toward me. And I want to end up with my lower back on this first bolster. So, like we did in Supta Virasana, I'm going to lift and tilt the pelvis, and then come down. And I've pulled this rather tight. So if you start out a little bit looser and you have the strap pulling towards you, you can cinch it up a little bit more. So just observe that you're in the right position before you get too tight. Tailbone is lengthening down. You're still getting that lift of the chest. And then if you want to bring the legs in a little bit closer, then you can pull that strap and bring the feet in and just be there. So here you're getting a nice opening through the front groin, the hips. There's depth in the hips, a lot of circulation in the hips. And with the bolster underneath the tailbone and the buttocks, it's supporting, again, that lift or that opening through the front groin. So let the knees descend. You could even take some weights on the thighs. Only take weights if you have the legs are supported. So I have a little bit of space here. I could always put a blanket here, but if I'm going to use weights, I want to have something underneath my legs, which I have the bolster, but I could even have a little bit more. Okay, and then just be there. And now, with your breath, start to feel the breath in the body and observe the breath through the whole front body, with the pelvis open and that rotation of the legs, and the hip socket. The pelvic area is all open and wide. So release any tension there. So using your exhalation, just let yourself soften. Let the legs release. And if you don't feel very comfortable in this, you can always take some rolled blankets and put it right underneath your thighs so that you're completely supported and that there's no strain in the front groin. It really depends on your body and how open you are. The balance of your hips. So we use a lot of different props to accommodate us when we're going to hold for a little bit longer and try to go into deeper layers of the body. So when you're just staying in a pose a very short time, there's a short amount of awareness that's able to penetrate. So we want this to penetrate and to deepen, and with that, Have a sense of letting go, surrendering, while at the same time creating some opening. Because we're completely supported, we can do that. Relax your mind, relax your brain, relax the breath. All right, we're going to come up now. So you can take your legs up, take the strap off, and then remove the bolster from underneath your hips. And bring your legs onto that support. Just leave the belt there. Relax your arms. Bend your knees. Let your heels come towards each other. So there's still that opening. Making sure that you've levelized the pelvis. And then just be there. If you need a blanket for under your head, take that blanket. Once you've adjusted your shoulders, you may have no need for the blanket, but if your chin is still lifting, take the blanket, bring it right up to your shoulders, and have a little bit of elevation for the head so that you can rest nicely in Shavasana. So I'm going to let you be here in Shavasana, taking your time. Stay with your breath. Just following the breath in and following the breath out. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. I hope you feel energized, feel a little bit more opened up, and relaxed at the same time. If you'd like to do more with what we've been doing for a little bit longer class and adding some inversions, check out these classes here and add that to the sequencing. Okay? Take care and namaste.